All right, so here we go. I left our cheat sheet here to help us out. Our last problem, this is in our notes, 2.6, is letter G. And here is the equation. Okay, so who remembers from yesterday how we start? Factor. So how does the top factor? Now, see that 2 right there? That means you're going to have a 2x and an x, so that when you multiply them, you get 2x squared, right? Right?
Yeah.
Now, at the end, there's a 3. You don't have any choices. It's 1 and 3. That's it. So you have to decide where you're going to put the 3 and where you're going to put the 1, so that when you boil it out, you get -5. So you can either think about that in your head, or you can just put them down there and see if it works. Now, it is negative, so I need a negative and a positive, because that's the only way to multiply and get -3. So that's going to give me 2x squared plus 2x. That isn't going to work. You see how I know that isn't going to work? Because 2 minus 3 is not 5. So I'm going to switch the 1 and the 3. And now I'm going to have, when I FOIL, now I get a 6x minus a 1x. Well, I'm closer, but not quite right, because why? Not negative, and it needs to be -5. So that means this needs to be a plus, and this needs to be a minus. Now, you see how I did that, guys? You have to be able to do that. We are now seniors in high school. That is a first-year algebra skill. If you can't do that, you need to practice. Go to Khan Academy, practice, practice, practice. Because if you factor this wrong, you are going to miss every single one of these. Okay? And you can't afford to do that. Okay, what's on the bottom? That one's a little easier. What's on the bottom? X. -3, -1, perfect. All right, so now we are all factored. All right, well, what do we notice? We can cancel. So our actual equation that we are graphing is 2x plus 1 over x minus 1. Alright, so now we're ready to start finding all of these things and putting them in the graph. Alright, so the order doesn't matter, just we need all this stuff. So what do you want to put in here?
There's a hole.
There's a hole. We know there's a hole because we canceled. And where will that hole be?
3,
At 3 comma, not 0. Not 0. It is 3. But now I gotta plug it in. And I plug it in right here. So what happens when I plug 3 in right here for my x's?
You get 7 over 2.
I get 7 over 2. So that means on my picture, I'm going to have an open dot at 3 comma 7 halves, and 7 halves is 3.5. So 3 comma 3.5. All right, how do we get that y coordinate again? Plug in x. And where did x come from? The factor that canceled, right? Okay. All right, what else can you tell me?
You box it, you need to.
When I box these in, that gives me my horizontal asymptote, which is y equals 2. All right, what else? Well, what's my x-intercept? We don't have that yet.
-1.
No, be careful. What makes the numerator 0? So 2x plus 1 equals 0. What makes that 0? What number makes that 0? I want my numerator to be 0. Right? So what makes that equal 0? What x value makes it 0? Negative a half. So my x-intercept's at negative 1/2. Where's my y-intercept?
Negative 1.
Negative 1, because when I put in zeros, I get negative 1. So my y-intercept is right here at negative 1. Where's my vertical asymptote? At positive 1, x equals 1, because vertical asymptotes come from the denominator? And that's it. That's everything now. So, now it's time to draw in my arcs. Remember, these always have those arcy things in them. So I gotta figure out, okay, on this side though, here's my asymptote. On the left side of the picture, is my arc gonna be down here or up here?
Out there.
Down here. And there's no question about that, kids. Don't you have dots down here already? Of course it's gonna be down there because it has to go through its dots. You can't just have a random dot hanging around. So you can't have this random dot up here. The curve has to go through it. So isn't this arc gonna be up here like this? And that's it. Okay? So now I've got a practice. Quiz. Actually, it was an actual quiz, but I made it a practice quiz now. Alright. And I'm gonna give you the and
I think that's what this has in it all.
everybody's got one? Okay. And I am going to erase my cheat sheet over here because it's time for us to figure this stuff out. Alright, so let's look at the problem. What's the very first thing you're gonna do with that? Factor. You're gonna factor that guy. Okay? So, tell me what you think about factoring.
Do 2x in one and then x another one, and
You mean on the bottom?
up
Top? Okay, so on the top, that's a plain x squared. So on the top, I'm just gonna have x and x, because x times x is x squared.
Would be x plus 3 and x minus 2. I mean, x plus 5 and x minus 2.
That sounds like a good guess. Let's check it. That gives me x squared minus 2x plus 5x minus 10. I think you've got it, Daryl. I think that's right. How do I check? What did I just do up there? I just foiled. Right? You foil. Okay, so the top is done. What about the bottom? Look at it. What do you notice about it? I hope you notice you can take out a 2. That is gonna make your life so much easier if you notice that you can take out a 2. Because then, you gotta keep the 2, but then you're just factoring this guy, which is a little easier. How is he going to factor? X plus 2, x minus 4. Alright, let's just double check that. That's our guess. What happens when I foil this back together? I I get x squared minus 4x plus 2x minus 8. Is that what I wanted? No. Nope, there's a guess, but it didn't work, so not 2 and 4.
2 and 1.
2 and 1, so x minus 2 plus 1. All right, let's check that. X squared plus x minus 2x minus 2. Does that work out? Yeah, that works out because this makes negative x minus 2. Perfect. All right, so we checked it. It works. Okay, now what do you notice about your problem? Anything? We can cancel these out. So what we're gonna end up graphing is x plus 5 over 2 x plus 1. Now, there's a list there that you're gonna fill in that reminds you of everything that has to be in your picture. So let's start putting that stuff in.
Hole.
We're gonna have a hole, and that hole is going to be where?
It's going to be 2 and then 7 thirds.
At 2 comma something, because that's what I canceled out. And the something is gonna be what I get when I put 2 back in here. So when I put 2 in there, I'm gonna get 7 on the top. Now 2 plus 1 is 3 times 2 is 6, so 7, 6. 2 comma 7, 6. So remember, 7, 6 is 1 and a 6. So put it in there somewhere like that. All right, you gotta put all that stuff in your picture though, okay? So what else are we putting in there?
Horizontal asymptote is a half.
Horizontal asymptote is y equals a half. What does the rest of you think? Is that okay? Because right here, x over 2x. All right, that's good. What else? How do I find a y-intercept? So I get 5 on the top. 0 plus 1 is 1 times 2 is 2. So 0, 5 halves is my y-intercept. Where's my vertical asymptote?
Negative.
X equals
Negative.
-1. Because vertical asymptotes come from the denominator. X-intercept, where's my x-intercept?
Hey, why do you have vertical asymptote on the right side?
Because it's -1. It's an x value. Okay? Well, how do I get my x-intercept? Where's it come from?
Numerator is 0.
Numerator. So what's gonna make that 0? -5. And now all of your blanks should be filled in. All of those blanks down here should all be filled in. That means you're ready to sketch your picture. So what do you think? Can you sketch it in from here? I think this one's pretty obvious. Oh wait, no it's not. Somewhere I've got a mistake, guys. Oh, no, yes, no, we're good, we're good. That's not the y-axis, that's my axis. There we go. Yep, it looks like that. And like this.
I was thinking.
I had that solid, I thought that was the axis. There we go, that's what it looks like. Okay. Now, I found a couple of more, so we'll do another one. We have time. Couple more practice problems. Don't think these are the same problems. Alright, so let's do the one. That is, the sides aren't labeled, but we'll do the one that this is the problem. Okay, here we go. How do we start? A factor. So how does the top factor?
Positive 4, negative 1.
Positive 4, negative 1.
I think we have to.
I'm gonna double check that. X squared minus x plus 4x minus 4. I'm foiling, F-O-I-L. Is that gonna give me what I want?
No.
No, no, no. So nope. Good try. Didn't work.
X plus
X
plus 5 and x minus 1.
plus 5 minus 1. All right, let's double check that. X squared minus x plus 5x minus 5. Is that right? Okay, that works. Good. Same thing with the denominator. What's the denominator going to be?
X minus 1, x minus 2.
Minus 1 minus 2. Let's double check it. Make sure it works. It does. Okay. Get that out of there so I don't clutter things up. Okay, so what do we notice? We can cancel these. So we have x plus 1 over x minus 2.
I mean, yeah.
X plus 5 over x minus 2, yeah. Is that all right with everybody? All right, let's sketch it. You have a list there on your paper. You know what you need to draw. So what do you want to put in? Okay, so we know we have a hole.
1,
And it's gonna be where x is 1.
6 over so negative 6.
And when we put in 1, we get 6 over negative 1, which is negative 6. So we have a hole at 1, negative 6. Okay. What else do we need to put in our picture? Horizontal asymptote, where? At 1, right here, box them in, we get 1. Okay,
The y-intercept is
y-intercept is what?
negative 5.
Negative 5 halves, because if you put in 0, don't you get 5 over negative 2? So y-intercept is 0, negative 5 halves, or negative 2.5. Okay, the vertical asymptote is at x equals 2, because that's what makes the denominator 0. And what blank is still not filled in? X-intercept? What's our x-intercept? How do we find the x-intercept? Negative 5. What makes the top 0? Okay. So we're ready to fill in our blanks? Would you agree? Hey, can you do that? Can you sketch this picture at this point? Draw your arcs. Hopefully you've got one right here. Right? Where's the other one?
Would it be in the top like?
Yeah, it would be, Kate, very good, has to be up there, can't cross the axis, so it has to be up there, perfect. All right, we got one more practice. One more. Here we go.
Should we write this down?
It's on that. The quiz we take next time is going to look exactly like these three practices have looked. Okay? So what are you gonna do first? This is your problem. What are you gonna do first? You're going to factor. So, do you notice anything about factoring the top?
You can take out 2.
You can take out a 2. And then what do you notice?
It's gonna be x minus.
You have the difference of squares. Now what about the bottom? Anything happening on the bottom?
Would it be,
I heard, what did I hear, +4, +2? Alright, let's double check that. First, outside, inside, last. Yep. Good job. So now I'm all factored.
and then when we cancel out the x plus 2?
I'm gonna have a hole in this problem. So I'm gonna ultimately be graphing 2 times x minus 2 over x plus 4. That's what I'm graphing. And now I gotta start filling in my lists there and putting those things in my graph. So what do I have? So I'm gonna have a hole. I need to figure it out. And the hole comes from what I canceled, so the x is gonna be -2. Right? And then I'm gonna take that -2 and I'm gonna plug it back in. So what's -2 minus 2? -4 times 2 is -8. And then I'm putting in -2. So now -2 plus 4 is 2. So that's gonna give me a y coordinate of -4. So -2, -4 is my y. So my hole. Alright, what else can I put into my picture?
The x-intercept is 2.
The x-intercept is +2. That comes from the numerator. So x is 2, alrighty. What else?
The y-intercept is -1/2.
I need to figure that out. Let's see. To get my y-intercept, I'm gonna let x be 0, right? So if I let x be 0, this is -2 times 2 is -4. And if I put a 0 in, I get 4. So my y-intercept is 0, -1.
0.
missing my asymptotes. Where are my asymptotes?
Just the numerator.
Horizontal asymptotes would be,
Wait,
two
that was both of them.
2/1. So my horizontal is just y equals 2,
Okay, that's right.
right? My horizontal is y equals 2. And where's my vertical?
4.
X equals -4. All right, and that's everything. Every blank should now be filled in. Okay, so now I need to sketch this in. Can you sketch it in?
Would you do parabola?
Oh, no, no. There are no parabolas in this, in a picture with one vertical asymptote. If there's one vertical asymptote, your picture is going to have these arcs, kids. Now, they might be in different quadrants, but that's what they are. That's the only shape you're gonna have. No other shape, okay? The only time we have those other shapes is when there's more than one vertical asymptote. But if all you have is a left side and a right side, then you're just gonna have those arcs. So just connect these dots. I know mine's a little wobbly in there, but
Yeah, it's.
there it is.
Circle zero.
Now, we're not done though, because how many arcs do you have to have? 2. So there's another one somewhere, and it's going to be up here. Okay? I want you to look at the 3 practice, actually the 4 problems we just did. The one in the notes and these 3. Don't they all look the same? That's what your quiz is gonna look like. So you need to be able to find those things to fill in the blanks. Then once you put them in your picture, you need to be able to connect the dots. All right? So one problem, there'll be a whole page of paper just like this, do exactly like this. That's what you're doing. Friday? Do I see people tomorrow? I don't think I do. So that'll be Friday morning, okay? We're gonna take that quiz. Everybody cool? All right, get your notes back out. I would suggest that between now and Friday, maybe you recopy these, recopy on the other sheet of paper, and give them a try. Now we're gonna get out our notes. And we're shifting gears now, we're in 2.7. So what are we gonna do on our quiz problem? You're gonna get a problem like this. What is the first thing you're gonna do to it? Factor it. Probably something will cancel, right? You'll take care of that, and then you'll start sketching what's left. That is our quiz. Now we're moving to 2.7, which is not graphing. 2.7 is solving. We already solved some of these back at the beginning of the year. These are gonna be just same kind of thing, only maybe a little bit bigger. All right, so take a look at that equation. What do you think you might wanna do?
Get rid of the 4s.
Get rid of the 4s. And what do we know? If we have an equation and all of the denominators are the same, then what are we allowed to do? Get rid of them, drop them out, right? So if you cannot just drop denominators, boys and girls, you didn't hear me say that. You can only drop denominators if every single term has the same denominator, right? Here we do. So I'm just gonna drop them out and solve that equation. I'm totally allowed to do that. So what have I got then? I can collect like terms here, so I have 2x plus 3 equals 3. Right? And then I'll subtract subtract 3. So 2x equals 0. I'm not alarmed by that. That's perfectly fine. So when I divide by 2, it just looks like my answer is 0. Nothing to it. Now, number 2 doesn't quite look the same. So what do you think you want to do with this problem? Multiply by x. If you multiply by x, will that go away?
Yes.
Yes, but it has to come over here too, so you're gonna have an x squared plus a 2x equal to 15. So basically, we multiplied both sides by x. And that made the fraction go away, which was our objective, all right. Now what?
Would you bring the 15 over and
You
then
would
factor?
definitely bring the 15 over, because what kind of an equation is this? It's a quadratic. And how do we solve quadratics? Well, we gotta get them set equal to 0, and then we can either factor them if they factor, or we can always use the quadratic formula. All right, does this one factor? Yes. How does it factor?
X plus 5, X minus 3.
Okay, I'm in the habit now of checking. It's so important on my quiz Friday. So x squared minus 3x plus 5x minus 15. First outside, inside, last. That works. Good job. But I'm solving. So if these are the factors, what does x equal? What are the roots? What are the zeros? -5 or 3. In this section of problems, we are solving, so we're coming up with x equals. All right, one more, number 3. Oh, this looks kind of the same. What do we want to do?
Times the X.
Multiply everything by x. So we'll have x squared plus 12 equals 7x. And then what?
Subtract 7x over.
So x squared, and I'm gonna go ahead and put it in the middle. I'm gonna move the 7x over, but I'm gonna put it in the middle because that's where it looks like it belongs. And then what? You can it's a quadratic, you can always use the formula. Or the quadratic formula, or you can try to factor this one, so does this one factor? Minus 4 and 3 in either order, doesn't matter. Let's double check it first. Outside, inside, last. Yep, that's right, you got it. So what are the answers? 4 and 3. Alright, we don't have time to start this next one, so I'm gonna stop there. You have a quiz on Friday, and you are going to a period next.